Mr. Birkin presents Place Value Part 2. Today we're going to be talking about base 10. Alrighty, so base 10, what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, the standard tells us this. Okay, it says recognize that in a multi-digit number, a digit in one place represents 10 times as much as it represents in the place to its right, and 1/10 of what it represents in the place to its left. Okay, so what do I mean by that? That's a lot of kind of jargon for a pretty basic concept. Okay, remember these are our place value blocks, right? So I've got one here. If I take one of these cubes and keep adding one more and one more and one more until I get up to 10, then I can trade it in, and that's actually 11 there, then I can trade it in for one of these, right? So I've simply taken my ones and traded them in for a 10, okay? And if I take 10 of those 10s, so I keep adding, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I take 10 of those, let me move my ones out of the way here, put them together. Now I have 100, right? And so I can trade it in for 100 cube. And I could actually take 10 of those and trade it in for one of the big 1,000 cubes, right? So what is this teaching us? Well, it's teaching us that we work with a base 10 system. What I mean by that, if I want to use, let's say I'm going to look at the number 341, okay? So 341, I want to move from my ones place to my tens place and to my hundreds place. Okay, basic place value, ones, tens, hundreds, right? Okay, well, if I'm in the ones place, and I multiply that times 10, I would now be in my tens place. And all I've done is trade this in for one of these. Okay, so this number here would actually be 341. So I would have 3 of the hundreds, 4 tens, and 1 1. Okay. To move back and forth, I'm going to go times 10. Okay, so ones, well, 1 times 10 gives me 10. 10 times 10 gives me 100. 100 times 10 gives me 1,000. 1,000 times 10 is 10,000. 10,000 times 10 is 100,000. 100,000 times 10 is 1,000,000. You get the idea. It keeps going up times 10. Now, what if I want to go down though? So let's say I'm in my tens place. Here's 110, and I want to move down to my ones place. Well, I'm going to take that 10 and I'm going to break it apart into 1/10 pieces. So what I've really done there is taken my 10 and multiplied by 1/10. So to move up, to move to the left, you go times 10. To move to the right, I am going to times again, but times by 1/10. So I'm taking my 10 and breaking it into 10 even pieces and just taking one of them, 1/10. You can do the same thing with moving from 100 to tens. So if I want to take my 100 block and move down one step in place value, I'm going to take 1/10 of that. So I'm going to take my hundreds block, break it into 10 equal pieces, and now I moved from hundreds to tens. Okay, and I did that by multiplying by 1/10. So with place value, you're simply going up by times 10 or down by 1/10. And we're just talking the value. So of course 1 times 10 is not 40, right? But I'm moving from my ones place to my tens place. Well, 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So as you move up and down, you are moving up times 10 or down times 1/10. And that's the basic concept we need you to understand. All right, and this works on the other side of the decimal also. Okay, if I were to put a decimal here, now I've got not hundredths but tenths, hundredths, and this one would be thousandths. Ran out of room there. So get rid of these up top. Okay, so now we're moving beyond the decimal, but it works the same exact way. Okay, if you have 1/100th and you times that by 10, that would be 1/10. And moving from 1/10 down, 1/10 of that would be 1/100th. And basically what you're doing is you're taking your tenths there, breaking it up into 10 even pieces, taking one of those and breaking that into 10 pieces. So I would slice this up into 10 pieces. That would be 1/100th. Okay, and really what you're doing there is moving down times 1/10. So it works on either side of the decimal point, and we work with a base 10 system.